Hey, I'm Jeremy. Welcome back to Rugby Informer. We're just taking a look at the game between the Springboks and Argentina in Nelspruit that ended up awarding South Africa the Rugby Championship trophy after being a little bit absent in the cabinet for a couple of years. So firstly, some credit has to go to Argentina. I thought they put up quite a good fight against the Boks, especially after the travel and everything that came with that. But I think this story is all about the Springboks completely dominating that game. After a few small shaky bits, the Springboks kind of looked like they had just been let off the leash. Incredibly dominant around the field, tactically, in the contact situations. They really just looked like they went to another gear. And it's probably a response to a bit of a lambasting that I'm sure the Springbok guys got from Rassie Erasmus after last week's loss. But they really just showed the world-class team that they actually are after looking a little lackluster the week before. The most stark difference between this performance and any of the performances we saw over the Rugby Championship seems like the Springboks really fully embraced this new attacking, ambitious game plan, really backing their individual talents, backing their skills, getting the ball in space as fast as possible. Obviously, that comes off the back of a lot of physical dominance and high power game in the midfield at the breakdowns. But the Springboks aren't afraid to throw the ball around anymore. They're really backing the opportunities to get offloads, to look for that second pass, look for two touches. This is a kind of a strategy that a lot of people were apprehensive about when Tony Brown joined the Springbok coaching staff. It's kind of been dubbed Tony Ball, this kind of, in their minds, or the skeptics' minds, this loosey-goosey, throw the ball around with reckless abandon kind of strategy. But I don't think that's really what it's all about. I think the strategy with Tony Brown is more about the team playing with joy, playing with a smile on their face, and capitalizing on the talent individually and as a team that they have available. You got guys like Cheslin Kolbe, Apilela Fassi, Kurtley Arendse, Damien Dialendi, even a lot of the bigger, more brutish guys in the South African squad are good ball players, the likes of Peter Steph du Toit, Jasper Wiese. These guys are able to play more of an expansive game when the opportunity arises. And they seem to just have hit a different type of dimension with the way that they run the ball, the way that they pass the ball, the backs linking up with the forwards and vice versa. So I think it's about them kind of capitalizing on the wealth and breadth of players that they have available on the field rather than just sticking with the safe and more comfortable options. Because you can maul all you want until the cows come home, kick for the corners. But sometimes, while that does win tournaments and these one-point games, you need these kind of really structured set pieces to get the upper hand. Sometimes it doesn't work. You look in recent weeks when the line out wasn't really functioning as well as it was in the first half, or they kick to the corner and actually miss. There's a lot of issues that can go wrong where even if you're trying to play very conservative, steadfast, safe rugby, if you don't put the foundations in place or something goes wrong, you can't do that either. So having the ability to be able to play what you see and capitalize on the space that's available, I think is an important part of the Springboks evolving their game plan beyond heavily relying on the set piece. Obviously, that's an important part or the backbone of Springbok rugby. But trying a few things also results in points. And you look at the scoreline against Argentina, it's not like they skimmed through with minimal errors. They completely smashed Argentina and probably could have even scored a few more tries. Rugby is a very dynamic game, and it's actually becoming more and more dynamic with every team catching up a little bit. Every team's evolving their strategy and working out how to dismantle one another. And yes, it's a very physical and structured game, but you also have to be unpredictable in the modern game. You look at all these teams are swapping a lot of intellectual IP or rugby knowledge. They're all getting better. You look at Ireland, you look at England, all of them are evolving and in different ways, but they all are changing. So the one thing that you've got to also have in your bag of tricks is being unpredictable, so that even when teams have all the footage and all the analysis, you can still pull a rabbit out of the hat and do something. And I think the Springboks are spoiled for choice at the moment with the likes of Manie Libbok, Cheslin Kolbe, Arendse, all these guys who are not only amazing individual players, but have this ability to link up with people around them and do things that are unpredictable, uncoachable, and are extremely hard to defend against. You even saw a guy like Andre Pollard, a guy where you know what you're going to get from him. Pollard put through a kind of a botched little short kick that Jesse Creel ended up scooping up and scoring, but it was a kick you don't really see him do very often. It kind of came off a bit awkwardly, but again, the Argentinian defense aren't expecting things like that, especially from a player like that. Then you look at Manie Libbok pulling off another no-look cross kick to Ches and Colby that put him in a little bit of space. It didn't result in a try or anything, but it completely spread the Argentinian defense and once again caught them off guard. And on that point, a week ago, people were criticizing whether Manie Libbok should even be in the Springbok squad. Anyone who really understands the difficulty of pulling off skill moves like that, or a targeted cross kick, or even his ball playing abilities with the ball in hand, the way he found Apelele Fassi in space after a defender rushed out of the line to allow Fassi to throw a cutout pass to Colby to score, or in the early stages of the game where he threw a beautiful pass that hit Apelele Fassi on the drift and he ended up scoring. I don't think there's many players in world rugby, maybe Finn Russell is a name that pops into my mind, but anyone who can produce moments like that. Manie Libbok is worth his weight in gold. Maybe taking away that kicking responsibility and giving it to Jaden Hendrickse, who seemed to do a really good job. Maybe that was just the little change that was needed to really let Manie thrive in the midfield, his ball playing ability, his playmaking vision. Just let him focus on that, and it seemed to work wonders. So I thought he had an incredible game. He went from zero to hero very fast, and I'm glad that he silenced the critics and shown people why he deserves to be there. But back to this attacking game plan the Boks are playing. It's not an area that's extremely foreign to them, or as if the Springboks have never really tried to play more ambitious rugby. It's always been there. You've seen them counterattack against some of the bigger teams. We've seen it in years gone by with the likes of Damien Willemse and guys like Willie Leroux opening up a lot of space for players on the outside. But in years gone by, it's kind of seemed like the Springboks waited for those moments to appear, whether it was a defensive error or a quick turnover or something like that that's happening in a game, and then they kind of flex their muscles in terms of their more ambitious attacking capabilities. But I think what Tony Brown and Rassie Erasmus and the whole coaching staff and the players have embraced is creating a system where they create those moments rather than wait for them to happen. Whether it was the width of the passing or that trick line-out play that was an inversion of the one we saw against Australia. The Springboks are creating these unusual, unorthodox moments that let the individuals shine. Whether it's a Peter Steff to Tory Carey or a Ches and Colby sidestep, they're kind of creating this space and these unusual moments that are making the defenses second-guess themselves. So I think in terms of unpredictability, the Springboks have literally gone up 5 points. Whereas a team like the All Blacks or Australia in years gone by used to be that team that was extremely hard to decipher and read. The Springboks are putting all the foundations in place to have a strong physical game, a solid set piece. They can change up the set piece if need be and do something unorthodox. And they have this ability to play heads-up rugby and get the ball into guys' hands. I mean, you've got someone like Ches and Colby, probably the best open field runner in world rugby at the moment, sometimes standing out on the wing kicking stones. I mean, he looked incredibly busy against Argentina. He seemed to have the ball in his hand more often than not, and points come when he gets the ball. That's the reality of it. Whether he's scoring or he's turning the defenses inside out and end up making a mistake, you're starting to see the Springboks really backing the ability of these individual guys. Someone like Damien Dialendi had a great game too, had a nice little breakdown the midfield after slipping a tackle and getting the ball away to Colby. You're just seeing them having a little bit more confidence. They're smiling. There's joy on the face of these players. And I think when a team like that is playing with a smile and playing a game that they enjoy playing, it's basically impossible to stop. So well done to the Springboks. I thought they are the deserved team for the tournament. They could have maybe gone the whole 6 games with victories, but Argentina did spoil the party a little bit, and well deserved to them. I thought they did put up a good fight. They were on the receiving end of some tough cards and some ill discipline, whether warranted or not, is up for debate. But well into the Springboks. Most of those players now head back into the URC, which we'll be keeping an eye on. And thanks for checking out the video. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, please comment below. Let us know what you thought of the game. Let us know if there was anything interesting you picked up during that match. And we'll see you in the next one.